They are going to promote an assistant coach to be the head coach there at Villanova.
Yeah, he's the.
And I mean, out of nowhere, this just happened, and I guess it's fitting for Jay Wright because that is the personality of Jay Wright. Very quiet, very humble. Wow.
Yeah, this one kind of came out of left field, no doubt. He's only 60 years old. Roy and Coach K are in their 70s. Coach K 75, I believe, and Roy was in his early 70s. And they're promoting he's the head coach at Fordham. He was for this season.
Kyle Neptune.
And he was a longtime assistant for 10 years as a video coordinator, and then worked his way up to be on the on-court staff for Villanova, and he had left to take over the Fordham program. I believe they went 16-16, which was like a 14-game improvement. They were horrific when he took over, but he is going to be named the successor to Jay Wright. This doesn't surprise me as far as the successor plan because Jay Wright built a program based upon the same kind of family values that you see at Carolina and Duke, and he was there for 21 years. So it doesn't surprise me that I'm sure they allowed him to put this in place, and they had a succession plan ready to roll when he officially announced it. It's just there was no buzz that this could be his last year because they went to the Final Four. They had a great season, his fourth Final Four at Villanova. He won 2 national titles there. Did a remarkable job with the culture that he built at Nova, a very unique one. Certainly they turned out NBA players, especially in the last 10 years. But he had his share of high-level recruits, but he also got a lot of guys that were under the radar and developed them, like Colin Gillespie, who was his best player the last couple of years. And what you would see at Villanova is a lot of times an older team. A team
right.
where guys stayed in school and developed. And so it was just a unique place. And Jay Wright, 28 years as a head coach. He was 21 years at Villanova, and then he spent 7 years at Hofstra. So, as a matter of fact, I got a chance to know one of his players with the Huntsville Flight, Scott. You may remember this name because you were in town, of course, covering them. Rick Apodaca, who was a guy that played for Jay at Hofstra, just absolutely gushed about him, what kind of coach he was. He was there for 7 years and then turns around and goes to Villanova. And he was the guy that finally fit because they had Rowley there for a long time, and Steve Lapis wasn't the answer. They had a difficult time finding the perfect fit at Villanova, but he ended up being that guy. And he never left. The NBA came calling, and he never showed much interest in that. But you're right. He's always been a private guy, always been quiet. And when he was hired, there wasn't a lot of waves made. They said he was a great young coach at that time, and he did a remarkable job. And now he's stepping away. I will say, and I made this statement that when Coach K stepped away, that I thought Jay Wright would be the best coach in America. Now he's stepping away.
Yeah.
So that's significant. We've lost a lot of star power in college basketball.
Right now, that leaves Jim Boeheim of Syracuse.
Mm-hmm.
As Jay Wright was not there, but Jim Boeheim now is the winningest active coach in college basketball.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, tops on that list was Mike Schuszewski. Number 3 on the all-time list is Jim Calhoun. He is retired.
Well, he did come back for a brief time, did he not? Like in a Division III school?
But he is retired. He stepped away,
Gotcha.
I believe, midway through this year or
Right.
at the beginning of the year. So he is officially done. Bob Huggins, by the way, is 4th on this list.
Quietly, yeah.
And he's at West Virginia still. Number 5 is Roy Williams. He is retired. Number 6 is Bob Knight. He is done. 7 is Dean Smith, the late Dean Smith. Adolph Rupp is 8. I mean, you have to go. Cliff Ellis.
Wow.
Is number 10.
He's still over there at Coastal.
On the all-time winningest coaching list right now. Cliff Ellis is number 10.
The mentor to Scott Stapler, yes.
Rick Byrd is 13.
And he's retired now.
I'm going down the list.
Yeah.
John Calipari is 17th on this list.
He's rapidly rising as the top active guy.
He is. So Jim Boeheim, I would imagine, would be the next big coach
to retire
and step away. How many years do you think John Calipari has left?
Well, John's a youthful guy. I mean, he seems to still have a lot of a lot of energy. And then he got some remarkable news yesterday. That's a good segue for you there, Scott, is Oscar Tshiebwe, the reigning National Player of the Year, is coming back to school. And remember what Coach David Sisk said on our show. He said if they could get the citizenship deal worked out with the NIL, he's a guy that was probably going to be a second-round pick and not be a first-rounder, but he could come back to school and make $5 to $6 million in NIL money at Kentucky. So this must be what's happening. I mean, we're going to talk to Blake Lovell about this in just a few minutes from Southeastern 14, but that's got to be a factor, you would think, with Oscar Tshiebwe coming back. Now, if he were a locked first-round pick, we know how this works, okay?
Right.
He's leaving. He's National Player of the Year. But he's coming back because he's a below-the-rim player, remarkable player, great player. But he doesn't have the athleticism of some of his predecessors, and so he's not considered a locked first-round pick by the NBA. And being at Kentucky and being the superstar that he is, he can go back to school and make a lot of money. And so I think that's probably the situation that's going on now.
Well, he's coming back, and remember, earlier this week or last week, Armando Bacot from North Carolina, the big guy, right. He is coming back.
And Leaky Black, a lot of these guys,
Yeah, that is different. I wonder what the trend is on why we're seeing.
Bacot is the same way, though. He's another just great player. And you saw we just raved about the rebounding and what he did for North Carolina. But he's another one that I don't think would be a lock first-round draft choice because, again, he's not an complete above-the-rim player. He's not a freak of nature. He's, almost like a Drew Timme, too. I'm going to be really interested to see ultimately if Drew Timme stays in the draft from Gonzaga because, he tested the waters last year a little bit and then came back. So is he going to do the same thing and finish his career at Gonzaga, or is he done? We've seen his little brother go to McNeese State, big man. But, again, I'm going to be interested to see if Drew Timme ultimately moves on.
All right, so Jay Wright leaves college basketball as the 48th all-time winningest coach in college basketball. 2 national championships, 4 Final Fours, 8 Big East titles, 2 Naismith Coach of the Year awards, and the AP Coach of the Decade in 2010s. That is
well-deserved.
Yeah, if you're looking at the list, I'm kind of going over this list. Bruce Pearl, by the way, is 57th all-time winningest coach. Names that Bruce Pearl has 626 wins. Names that are above him that he will pass next year: Cam Henderson, Hugh Durham, Bob McKillop.
I don't know. Bob's still active, Scott. He's still at Davidson. Yes,
634 wins. Bob has.
Bob's been remarkable at that school, and I don't know that they'll. It's going to be very difficult for him to win a national championship, but you fully expect him to be in contention for an NCAA bid.
Yeah. Billy Tubbs is 50th on the list with 641. Bruce Pearl has 626 wins heading into the new year. All right, 256-576-4977. That is the number to the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. We want to hear from you on a Thursday morning as we get started. Like we said, that was probably the biggest headline from around big-time world is that Jay Wright stepping away. I don't think there was much more big. I saw that, and I was like,
it broke late in the afternoon, and you're thinking, wow, there's another one stepping away. And then Peter Burns of SEC Network, they got to try to make these waves and put out these tweets.
I saw that. Oh, it'd be a great spot for Bruce Pearl.
No, what he said.
I saw, not him, but somebody put that out there.
What Peter Burns spewed out there was, well, with Jay Wright retiring, it's why I've prepared myself for the fact that this is the last season that we're going to see Nick Saban on a sideline in college football. Hey, LSU, stop praying that he's going to step away and kick and be whipping your ass every year. That's all that's about. That's because you went to LSU, Peter. You've been getting your ass whipped for years. Years getting dominated. And that's all you praying for. Please retire, coach. Please retire so my alma mater can actually win something. I know Joe Burrow saved Ed for a year, but since then it's been a freaking dumpster fire. Please, oh please, let Nick Saban retire so we can stop getting our heads caved in and getting completely dominated. That's all that tweet's about. Shut up.
So there's two things. It kind of does bring up an interesting thing because and I'm not saying that Jay Wright did it because of this, but we saw Mike Schuszewski say at the beginning of a year that this was going to be his last year, and it was more of a farewell tour for Mike Schuszewski. We see Jay Wright in the middle of the afternoon on a Thursday, not even on a Friday.
Roy Williams did the same thing.
They just step away.
Yeah, Roy, yeah.
So is it in Nick Saban's character, do you think, to announce it when he does, because he eventually will.
Right.
At the beginning of the offseason saying this will be my last year and we go through a farewell tour, or will we expect a Jay Wright-esque type of thing where in the middle of a Thursday afternoon we just get the announcement that Nick Saban has retired?
My gut tells me it's going to be like Jay Wright and Roy Williams. That I think he'll let Greg Byrne know there's a very good chance maybe halfway through a season. But I think Greg Byrne would, keep everything on the down low. I think it'll just be something that's well, I'll be honest. I don't know if you remember when Gene Stallings did it. It was before you got here.
I don't know that.
This was at the end of the 96 season.
Okay.
They did that right after he did this right after the Iron Bowl. Like it started leaking out during the Iron Bowl. You see what I'm saying? When they won 24-23. It's the VHS tape from Gene Stallings that's been signed to Scott that our good friend Brandon sent us several months ago. Scott's got here as a remembrance here. And what happened? Dennis Riddle scored with under 30 seconds to go. Alabama wins it 24-23. And during the third quarter, it started leaking out that he was very likely going to announce his retirement at the end of this game, and then they were going to play in the bowl game, which ended up being the Outback Bowl that they won over Michigan. And so we've got that Daniel Moore painting down the hallway with them returning the fumble for the winning touchdown. I think it was 10-6. So that was how that was done. I think Nick Saban would be something similar. I think it might leak out toward the end of the end of the regular season.
Yeah, that's the thing. In today's world with something like that, that's why I was shocked with this Jay Wright thing.
But I think it's going to be similar to Jay Wright and Roy Williams and Gene Stallings. I don't think that we're going to see Nick Saban come out and say, this is my last year of coaching, and it's going to be like a coronation. I don't think that'll happen. Sorry, Peter Burns. You're just going to have to put on your football helmet and take an ass whipping again.
I was just thinking, too, I was like, okay, of all of the coaches in football and basketball, I mean, Nick Saban, I'm just trying to think of some other coaches that we'd be sitting here thinking and being shocked because of them being on top of their profession. That who would be next to do that? Because Nick Saban, obviously, the top of college football right now.
Well, I mean, you talked about Jimmy Boeheim. Mike Hopkins at one time was his successor, and that he ended up leaving and going to Washington. I think he's got another successor named, but they've never really. They always change the timeline. A lot of people thought he was just trying to get his son through, because he had both his sons on the team this year, but we haven't heard anything out of Jimmy. That he's going to retire, and he looks like potentially he's going to outlast Mike Schuszewski, outlast Roy, and continue to keep going. I mean, he is a lifer. I mean, he loves Syracuse more than anything. And I'll never forget hearing this from folks close to Dean Smith and even Dean himself before he passed away several years ago, is he told colleagues of his, look, I retired too soon. I regret stepping away when I did. I should have kept doing this, and he didn't. And so a lot of coaches, it's one of those things where it has to be, you have to really know in your gut that you're done. And with Jim, he's been doing it so long. It's the only place he's ever worked. Think about that, because he played there, he was an assistant, and now he's been the head coach for nearly 50 years. I mean, that's here, and then he's been at the school over 50.
Right,
right. Totally unbelievable.
All right, 256-576-4977. That is the number to the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. And coming up here in just a little bit, Blake Lovell will join us. We're going to talk some more college basketball. Let's get to the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. Richard's with us this morning. Good morning, Richard.
Morning, guys. Just kind of the Jay Wright thing came out of nowhere, didn't it?
Yeah, it did.
Certainly.
I heard a podcast early this morning, and they said basically he announced, talked to the AD, I guess, and the president several months ago. And
Yeah.
Then about 2 weeks ago, he told him he wanted to retire, and they basically didn't want him to. They basically, tried to talk him out of it for 2 weeks, and I think it was going to leak out, and that's when they went ahead and announced it, yesterday.
Yeah. Yeah, it was totally surprising. I will say that.
One thing in what you said, Drew, is I think you're going to see these coaches that kind of, like you said, build basically build a team, in a certain way where the people, players say, and even, Coach K, they had the people one and done, but he always had 2 or 3, 4 that would stay the 3 and 4 years. I think these guys that aren't really used to building teams through the transfer portal, you're going to probably see a lot of them start hitting the road.
Well, and that's what Peter Burns is hoping and praying for. But see, what he doesn't seem to understand or just, and just probably dislikes. I know he's going to say, of course I like Nick Saban and love it. I mean, he gives us attention at the SEC Network. But come on, man. The thing is, this actually I think it motivates Nick Saban to try to kind of figure out how to keep his program at the top, even with the transfer portal and even with NIL. I don't think it's going to discourage him and shorten his career. Of course, you can't coach forever, but I think he loves the challenge of continuing because everybody tries to put obstacles in his way. Okay, well, this is going to knock Alabama off the pedestal. This is going to they're not going to be the best program in America, and he continues to solve the riddle.
Well, the one thing that we see with veteran coaches lots of times, especially that have been in the business for so long, they lose touch with the kids and how you would
it seemed Roy did that. Roy kind of admitted that.
The communication is broken down a little bit to where you can't communicate with the group that you have. It's not because you can't coach. Roy Williams can still coach basketball.
Well,
There's
it's
no
just
doubt
about
that.
the changing the
culture
the
and
change
everything.
in the culture,
yes,
the
yes.
change in the players.
And Nick Saban's been able to adapt to that for so long, which keeps him successful.
But one thing, too, on Roy was basically, his offense became outdated, I guess, defense, too, by trying to play too many bigs to where now, it's almost 5 guards.
4 and 5 out,
and I think, Drew, you may have brought it up yesterday. Kessler couldn't even get on the floor because he had so many bigs.
Right.
He wanted to play, everybody 7 feet tall out. He had too many, but nowadays, you have one big and everybody else can, handle the ball and shoot. One thing on Saban and a lot of these guys too is it's what hobbies do they have and other interests? Do they have?
Yeah.
The less they have, the more chance they're, like Saban just, he's never done anything but coach football.
That's right.
Well, I'm going to bring this up though too. The one thing we brought up his name earlier, John Calipari. We talk about John. The one thing that we've talked about the last 2 years was that his offense was kind of getting stale a little bit, kind of getting outdated there at Kentucky.
Yeah, David Sisk talked about that. Talked about how he's stubborn and he hasn't, changed his offense. So it's going to be – now he has tweaked his recruiting. They do a lot of transfer portal stuff now, not just trying to get McDonald's All-Americans and one and dones. But it's interesting that, yes, he talked about Calipari being, I guess, slow to change his offensive philosophy.
Yep.
I did see where your Iowa guy is going to back for next year. Frederick or Fredrickson, whatever, he's back and healthy, so he's coming back to Kentucky for next year.
Yeah, the Iowa
C.J. Fredrickson.
Yeah. So no, like I said, that kind of surprised you with Jay, but like I said, I think these guys that kind of especially the way Jay would have these guys 4 and 5 years. He would redshirt guys
sometimes.
Most of these guys nowadays want to play after 1 year, or they're transferring, and I'm sure any coach that sort of has that philosophy, probably will get out of the industry nowadays.
Yep,
that's true.
So, We'll see you guys later.
All right,
Thank you,
thanks,
Richard.
Richard. Let's get that break in when we come back. Blake Lovell will join us. We'll talk a little more college basketball with Blake Lovell.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
This is Brent Musburger's VSiN Action Update on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Heads up, sports bettors. Right now you can try VSiN All Access free for 30 days.
In the Army National Guard, soldiers serve part-time and close to home.
My community means everything to me. It helped shape me into who I am today, and is where I choose to raise my own family. That's why I joined the Army National Guard. I'm proud of where I'm from, and as a soldier, I get to give back to the people that helped me succeed. The education benefits I got from serving helped me get my degree and jumpstart my career. The training and leadership skills I've gained from the Army National Guard help me every day when I teach young people, help my neighbors, and look out for my community. I know that when my neighbors need us the most, my fellow soldiers and I will be ready. My family loves it here, and my part-time service means we get to stay here.
Serve part-time in the community you live in as a proud member of the Army National Guard. Talk to your local recruiter or visit nationalguard.com. Sponsored by the Alabama Army National Guard, aired by the Alabama Broadcasters Association and this station.
The world champs are back. The Braves are out to defend their world championship. And behind Matt Olson, Ronald Acuna, Dansby Swanson, Max Fried, and this loaded 2022 roster, a repeat is within reach.
There goes Ozzie, 2-2 on the way, hit well. Deep center field. Might have ourselves a tie ball game. You betcha.
And we'll bring you every huge moment of the Braves 2022 season right here on the Atlanta Braves Radio Network.
This is Wes Neighbors talking to Chris Haygood of Bob Wallace Appliance. Chris, what sets you apart from other appliance dealerships?
Wes, these appliances are going into the most used room in your house, your kitchen. The way we have these appliances displayed, it's easy for you to visualize how they'll look in your home. Wes, what sets us apart is the people. They're well trained. In fact, they live and breathe these appliances. And if you need service, you'll really appreciate our parts department.
Contact Bob Wallace Appliance at 256-533-2121.
Tom Abraham here for my friend Brian Hamaker and his team at North Alabama Mortgage. Look, buying a home is the biggest purchase you will make in your life, and it can be a bit intimidating, so you want people that can help walk you through the mortgage process and get you the best deal possible. That's what North Alabama Mortgage does, and they do it in Alabama, Tennessee, and Florida, from first-time purchases to refis, conventional, VA, FHA, and USDA loans. They have the solution at North Alabama Mortgage. Visit NorthAlabamaMortgage.com to learn more. That's NorthAlabamaMortgage.com.
Tom Luganbill here for my friends at Woody Anderson Ford. Bobby White and his team take great pride in their service department, and you can see it the moment you walk into those beautiful new service lanes. And just like a championship team, they all work together to make sure your experience is second to none, whether you drive a Ford or not. Also, check out the gold certified pre-owned inventory at Woody Anderson Ford for great deals every day. Stop by and see them at Jordan and Sparkman or at Woody Anderson of Madison on Hughes Road, or visit WoodyAndersonFord.com.
Still working with a clean slate accident-wise. Haven't picked up anything throughout the morning. We did have a robbery in Decatur Crossroads Grocery on Central Parkway around Longwood. They reported that one with a possible injury. With more than 30 years experience, D&L Refrigeration can save you money on your heating and air conditioning repairs. 256-652-1207. State license 08091. Captain Nick in the Jordan Lane Popeye Skywatch Traffic Center.
So who is Wes Neighbors?
He's going to put an ass whooping meter on next year.
Does Wes know?
1 or 2 or 3 cans of whoop ass.
We can all figure it out. Weekday afternoons, 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
This is Chuck Oliver. Listen to me coming up at noon today. Now, back to Talkin' Ball with Scott Theisen and Drew DeArmond on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Hi, welcome back. Talkin' Ball, 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Scott Theisen and Drew DeArmond. We're live until 9 a.m. and kind of floating around a lot of different things, but it's all centered around Jay Wright stepping away from college basketball, kind of going over that all-time winning list there of who might be the next one. Obviously Bruce Pearl in that list, but how long does he stay at Auburn? He seems like he is going to be there for a while. And, obviously the next biggest coach to step away of this magnitude probably would be a Nick Saban on the college football level. How would that happen? So a lot of things to take away from just Jay Wright saying, I retire from coaching college basketball.
Yeah, I mean, it was a complete stunner in a way, but of course it's been par for the course. Jay's done things his way the entire time at Villanova. He's been a remarkable success, one of the best coaches of his generation. But of course, he got overshadowed some with Roy Williams, Coach K, Bill Self, all these guys. But he was every bit their equal, in my opinion. And what he did at Villanova was remarkable. Getting them to a higher level of consistency than even Rolly Massimino did. It's a school that's a smaller, university. They do have football, but it's not big-time Division I. It's always been the FCS level. But again, a remarkable job by Jay Wright and what he's done there. And we're going to talk college basketball with our next guest and a little college baseball as well, because they do a great job at Southeastern 14. And that's our good friend Blake Lovell, who is with us this morning on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. Blake, welcome back to Huntsville with Drew and Scott. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning, guys. Good to talk to you as always.
And I wanted to you and your good friend Ken Cross, who's on the road to a remarkable recovery, by the way. We are blessed with that. I was texting with Ken last week some. And I know you guys did your daily podcast with so many college basketball coaches from around the country. And Jay Wright, I know, has always been a guy that was admired universally. How big a surprise was it to you to see him step away?
Yeah, guys, I mean, I think the name's a surprise, but I think the trend of this for certain top-tier coaches, I don't think is a surprise anymore. And, I think again, you talk about all the things he's accomplished, and I think that, it's interesting to think that at one point, probably a decade ago, the whole discussion around Jay Wright was, can he win those big games in the NCAA tournament? Well, he put that quickly to rest there in terms of winning, 2 championships in 3 years. And I think, again, you see him get to the Final Four again this year. And, yeah, I mean, he's done so much. I mean, he's pretty much done it all when you think about what he's accomplished there. But, I think he's in that same situation. And, you've seen some of the stuff out there, and we kind of talked about it with Roy Williams before and such, too, is the game has changed so much in terms of just the actual coaching aspect of it. And I think, again, we've talked about this with other coaches before, and I think if you're someone like Jay Wright, you feel like you've accomplished everything you wanted to accomplish. You've won that national championship. You've won multiple. It's just so different now in terms of how you, coach your team year in and year out, because for the most part, you're going to have a lot of new faces.
Yeah.
And I think just the changing nature of NIL, of building your roster year in and year out, I don't think that's for everyone, even for the guys that have been at the top for so long. And, again, am I shocked by this in terms of the name? Surprising, very surprising. But do I think this is one that is going to just be kind of an outlier? No, I don't, because I think you're going to see a lot of coaches kind of in the same situation as the years progress, just based on how NIL and just the transfers have impacted the state.
Yeah, that's a great point there. And the coaching lifespan used to be, I mean, you look at the likes of the Roy Williams and the Mike Schuszewskis, where they get up into the upper 60s, and that they 70s, still look like they have that energy and that life. And it's almost like coaching college athletics now, not just basketball and football. They used to say, 1 year of coaching is like 3 or 4 years. Now it's like almost like 1 year becomes almost like 10 years of coaching.
Yeah, and that's the thing, is there's just so much more. I mean, it's not just, and again, it hasn't always, it's always been that way in terms of just, it hasn't always just been about coaching your team on the floor, but now it's just, there are so many other elements that go into it, because again, we remember, guys, there are many times where it's, all right, I'm bringing my group in, I'm going to be I know I'm going to be coaching that team for 2 or 3 years at least. And that's just not the case anymore. At this point, you're basically coaching a different team at this level every year. And I think that can become such a challenge, because you're kind of starting all over, and you're having to do that and stay at the top because you know what the expectations are. Again, take Jay Wright as an example. you're having to start over every single year in a sense, but your expectations is not changing. You're having to flip the roster, but you are still expected to go to a Final Four every single year. And that can become, a lot of pressure when you're trying to put together a team. And again, knowing the NIL stuff and all that's in play, it can be very challenging. So I say good for him. He's going to go into retirement, have plenty to do. And, he'll have no shortage of opportunities in terms of coverage, covering college basketball and all that stuff. But yeah, I think it was just a situation where he is one of, I think, a good group out there that's probably having that same conversation each offseason now.
And now we look to people like Jim Boeheim and even Rick Pitino. Now, Rick wanted to come back and rewrite the ending. He didn't like what happened to end his run at Louisville. But how much longer might we see a Jim Boeheim and a Rick Pitino, you think?
Yeah, that's another interesting question because I think, it's probably very similar. I mean, Boeheim, I think, is probably clearly the next one, would be my opinion in terms of him stepping away because I think he's 76, 77. Yes. So I think he's probably definitely the one that, because like we said, guys, I mean, it's always been a grind, but now it's such a grind in terms of what you have to do each offseason. And we talked about sort of the changing nature of the ACC before too. So you would have to believe that's in the next year or two at most. I just think that's probably a situation where, look, I mean, this is kind of that changing of the guard, and you see kind of all of those guys, especially as we talked about Coach K and Boeheim and those guys kind of in that group. Patino's one I think is interesting because I could see Pitino going for another decade at this point. I just think he's someone that, like you said, Drew, I mean, he wants to write things the way he wants to write them. And I think I could see him, being away the time that he was. I think that can kind of, reinvigorate you a little bit. And so I think he's still got a good, maybe 5 to 8 years or so, something like that. I mean, I really do. I think he's someone that has kind of embraced this new situation, knowing that, this is kind of I don't know what you call it, a revenge tour or something for him. So I could see him doing this for quite a while longer.
With Mike Schuszewski stepping away, everybody thought, okay, well, the face of college basketball is a Jay Wright, that type of thing. Jay Wright steps away. Mike Schuszewski stepped away. In the last 13 months, we've seen Roy Williams step away. Who now kind of absorbs that face of college basketball as that big headline coach? Is it like a Tom Izzo at Michigan State?
Yeah, it's a good question because I think you still got, to me, I think this is kind of, as you said, it's kind of changed in terms of where these guys are positioned, although they're still kind of right up there. I mean, I still think Cal's right there at the top in terms of just where you're looking in terms of where the attention's going to go. I think John Calipari's still going to be the guy that's right there at the top with some of these other guys. And like you said, I think Izzo in terms of what he's accomplished. But you've also got guys like Mark Few, too, I think, just based on what he's done and knowing that every single year they're going to be right there in the conversation. So I think that he's going to stay there at the top as well. And you've got guys like Scott Drew that are certainly, warranted of being in that discussion now and those kind of guys. So, yeah, it's still a very interesting, group of guys. And like you said, I think it's just now a matter of, as you look at these future Hall of Fame, type coaches, who are the next ones to kind of take that big step and maybe, eventually, again, Izzo, I mean, who knows how far away. I think he's still a good ways away, too, from probably retiring. So, but you never know, like we just mentioned. I mean, I think it's just what do these guys value and those kind of things. And so it'll be interesting for guys like Izzo and like we said, Pitino and others, I think, just to kind of see how they view the whole dynamic of college basketball over the next several years.
Well, I've been trying to get John Beilein a job. You know me.
Yeah.
I've been trying to get him a job, man. I mean, he would have been a great but are you surprised, though, at Villanova, the way they did this? I wasn't. I kind of felt like the way that program was built that they would have a succession plan.
Yeah, and I think that's how we've seen it, and obviously it's a little – I mean, it's not the exact same. It's a little different at Duke and Carolina. But, I mean, yeah, I think that's kind of what you expect now for those kind of guys that have built these programs the way that they have. I mean, I think that's just going to – that has to be the case in every situation. You'd be shocked if one of these type of guys walked away and there was no plan coming behind him. So I'm sure Jay Wright had a very big kind of input in that. And I think you'll see that in all these cases. Like we said, guys, no matter who it is, whether it's Izzo or other guys like that, they're going to have a big role, I think, in deciding, where this program goes from here, because they put so much time and energy into building it the way they have. So, I think that's just kind of the way you're going to see it, especially when you have these coaches like this at that level. They don't want somebody just to come in and make the wrong move and tear down something that they've built for, decades. And so I think that's kind of the norm now.
Well, you mentioned it a little bit ago in the conversation that coaching basketball these days tough. You have name, image, and likeness. You got the ever-changing rosters going on. Take a look around the SEC. We've seen new coaches come in. We've seen plenty of departures on rosters. What's kind of caught your eye the most this offseason in the SEC?
National Player of the Year coming back to school.
Yeah, I was going to say, Oscar Tshiebwe making a couple million, it seems, that'll catch your eye. But as we said, I don't think that's not a huge surprise. And I think him coming back was probably not a huge surprise. The longer this thing went on, I think that was sort of the expectation. And I mean, certainly it Kentucky's already in the conversation, but I think it puts them right there. Once again, right up there with Arkansas. I think those are probably your top two teams just based on how rosters are constructed. But like we said, I mean, who knows at this point? You still got a long way to go with roster construction for some of these teams. But I think that's kind of what has really stood out to me is just seeing some of these guys that are coming back. Castleton comes back to Florida. That's a big boost for Florida. I think Florida's actually had one of the better off seasons, to be honest with you. They bring in a new coach, there's 6 coaches in different spots now in the SEC this season coming up. And I think Florida's had one of the better off seasons. They've got some good players transferring in. They brought back Castleton, Kawasi Reeves. I think they're actually, with Todd Golden, they're going to have a pretty successful first season, I think, with what the roster looks like. And I still think we're going to be talking about sort of a lot of the same teams. I mean, like I said, I'd put Arkansas at 1 right now. I think Kentucky's right there with them. I think Alabama and Auburn are kind of right there together, pretty close together in terms of maybe that next team. I don't want to call it a next tier because I think those two teams are, could potentially be good enough to be right up there near the top with Arkansas and Kentucky. But I think it's the same conversation, guys, it's such a changing landscape of the SEC because you have so many new coaches. I think that's going to be the most fascinating thing. Is you expect these teams, again, Arkansas, Kentucky, Bama, Auburn, all those, Tennessee, to be right there in that top half. But who are going to be of that group of new coaches? Who are going to be the ones that maybe push their teams forward the quickest? I think someone like Dennis Gates at Missouri could be that one. Like I said, Todd Golden at Florida's had a good offseason. So that, I think, will be the question and the discussion we have going into next season.
Yeah, because it looks like Dennis Gates may hold on to Kobe Brown from our community. Both he and his brother Caleb have stayed at Mizzou. We'll see how that goes on into the summer. But, of course, Blake, and then, I've been asked this by even high school coaches that I know. They were concerned about the turnover at Alabama because it looks like they're going to have as many as 7, 8 new guys. But you just said it at the beginning of our conversation. That's going to become the norm every year with the transfer portal and NIL and guys going to the NBA. You're going to have to at least half your roster many times is going to be different.
Yeah, and I think that's where before, I think early on in this, whenever transfers became such a huge thing, it's always everyone wanted to make it an indictment on the coach, right? Like we wanted to say that it was just the coach that was running people off and all this other stuff. I don't think you can look at it that way anymore. I think you just have to understand that this is the way things are, and there could be a variety of reasons why a team flips its roster and maybe has 6, 7, 8 new pieces, and it may not have anything to do with the coach or anything like that. So that's just what you expect now. And again, there's so many other options with name, image, and likeness, with the NBA, professional opportunities. So I think, that's where, and I do think Alabama, just as I look at it right now, they'll have a lot of new faces, but still, I think that, with the talent coming in, and we know that's kind of going to be built around, the younger guys like Brandon Miller and Bradley and Griffin and all those guys that are coming in. I think that's just going to be something, of course, getting Mark Sears too, I think was a huge boost for a team like that. So, I don't think Alabama's going anywhere. I think it's just, you have to understand at this point, your roster is going to look a lot different. That's going to give you more unknowns going into each season because you don't have, maybe that chemistry right off the bat. Whereas if you're bringing a full team back or something, it's much different. But, I don't think Alabama's going anywhere.
No. Well, and then Blake, I know SEC baseball, it just flies by. We're already at the halfway point of the regular season. We're 15 games in. It still looks like the top league in the country. It's been remarkable, though, because you've seen a team like Ole Miss go from number 1 in the country to losing 3 straight series. Alabama has now lost, 3 straight after winning 8 in a row. It's like a roller coaster. Where do we stand right now in SEC baseball in your mind?
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting, guys. There's a lot of good series this weekend, but you just said it, Drew. It's hard to believe that we're talking about probably one of the more interesting series this weekend is Mississippi State and Ole Miss, and it's because of where those two teams are at. You want to talk about some frustrated fan bases. I think those two, depending on how that series unfolds this weekend, talking about the two teams at the bottom of the West Division, that could, be ugly one way or the other, depending on how that goes. So, yeah, that's been a surprise. I mean, I think obviously, Tennessee is doing things that are just, unprecedented at times when you consider kind of what they've done this season. And, Alabama hands them their only loss at this point in SEC play. So clearly, I think we're still looking at Tennessee and Arkansas as the two teams that are quite a bit better than everyone else just based on how they've been playing. But like you said, I think and Chris and I have talked about this a lot, is you kind of have some of those teams that have been in the middle that have made things a lot more interesting, whether that is in Alabama. Of course, we've seen what Auburn's done to this point. I mean, look at what A&M's been doing recently, guys. I mean, look at sort of the numbers that they put up at times. They're starting to play much better, and obviously they've got a huge series this weekend against Arkansas. So I think A&M's one of those teams to really keep an eye on. So it's a very intriguing spot, and like you said, it kind of flies by in terms of where things are at. But I think this could be one of those kind of turning point weekends for a lot of teams, whether that is in Alabama, playing a team like Georgia, who's just given up a ton of runs right now, or is it a Florida who maybe, gets a series win over Tennessee? I think that's probably wishful thinking based on how Tennessee's played. But, it's a very interesting spot, and you've got some teams here, I think, that have made some moves. It's just, can you sustain that throughout the entire conference season? And so, it's been as usual, there's a lot of great teams, but, man, I think some of these teams in the middle are kind of making things a lot more interesting.
They really are. Well, Blake, great job, man. You and Chris Lee do a remarkable job at Southeastern 14. The main topic was going to be college baseball until the Jay Wright situation and then Oscar Sheboy, so we had to pivot. But that's what you guys do over there. Let everybody know how to connect with you and your YouTube channel and what all you guys have going on.
Yeah, I always appreciate it, guys. Like you said, southeastern14.com. You can check out all of our stuff there. And, yeah, we've got pretty much daily SEC basketball, baseball stuff going up. We'll have some stuff on the NFL draft here soon. Some thoughts on that. Obviously, it'll be very SEC heavy, as we know, as always. You can check all that out at southeastern14.com. And everything else, you can follow me on Twitter at @DBlakeBubble.
Have a great weekend, man. Appreciate
Thanks, Blake.
it.
Thanks, guys.
All right, let's get that break in. When we come back, the early Heisman odds are out from FanDuel. Where does the best college football player in America land? We'll let you know.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
The kitchen is the heart of any home. It's where the family gathers. It's where kids discover old recipes and make them their own. Just starting out or just now getting started on the dream kitchen you've always wanted?
I'm Chris Haygood, and from all of us here at Bob Wallace Appliance to the home builders and the homeowners of the Huntsville area, a heartfelt thank you for buying local. We're in Huntsville, Florence, and Coleman, and online at bobwallaceappliance.com.
This April, the Corn Ferry Tour returns to the Rocket City for the 2022 Huntsville Championship at the Ledges. Experience the beauty and drama of the Ledges in person as golf's rising stars chase their PGA Tour dreams. From the first man on the green to the roar of the crowd when the final putt drops. Be a part of every moment on the mountain. April 28th to May 1st. Tickets to be a part of the action are on sale now at HuntsvilleChampionship.com.
I'm attorney Gary Lackey. You'll hear people say we're like a family, but here at the Lackey Law Firm, that's really true, not just a saying.
I'm Justin Lackey. With my father and my sister, we have a special connection to each other. I'm Jennifer Lackey. At the Lackey Law Firm, when we take on your case, you become part of our family. You really do.
And we'll always do whatever it takes to get everything you deserve.
If you're injured, you worry about getting well, not about paperwork or insurance companies or figuring out how to get to your lawyer's office. I'll come to you.
We worry about your case so you don't have to.
When you've been injured, we know that your case is probably the biggest thing going on in your life. More important than almost anything else.
And it's important to us too, for one simple reason. Family takes care of each other, and at the Lackey Law Firm, we'll take care of you.
The Lackey Law Firm. The Lackey Law Family. 1-800-4-RIGHTS.
No representation is made that the quality of the legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
SportsMed is the official team physicians of the Rocket City Trash Pandas. And if the pros trust SportsMed, you can too. SportsMed provides every service you might need for complete orthopedic care, specializing in orthopedic surgery, sports medicine, joint replacement, spine surgery, neurosurgery, and podiatry. And they offer their own brace shop, in-house full-body MRI, physical therapy, walk-in clinic, and so much more. 4 locations and on the web at sportsmedalabama.com.
New message.
Hey, man, it's Devin. You know, from that time you accidentally emailed me because you thought I was a different Devin. Oh, and your email signature said confidential. If you receive this in error, please delete. That's so you. Anyway, I heard you bought a boat. When are we setting sail, Captain?
When you get a boat, you also get new friends. Make sure Progressive's one of them and get coverage today for as little as $100 a year.
Oh, and no, you did not receive this message in error.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Annual premium for basic liability policy not available in all states.
The internet is everything. Actually, everything. And with WoW Internet, everything is good. Good streaming, good shopping, good gaming. And with an extra reliable connection, it's all good all the time. Get super fast gig speed internet from WoW for only $49.99 a month. Plus get $300 on us when you sign up at Wowway.com. Wow, that's good internet. Wow. Limited to new customers with auto pay and paperless billing. Subject to change. Terms apply.
Still working with a clean slate accident-wise. Haven't picked up anything throughout the morning. We did have a robbery in Decatur Crossroads Grocery on Central Parkway around Longwood. They reported that one with a possible injury. With more than 30 years' experience, D&L Refrigeration can save you money on your heating and air conditioning repairs. 256-652-1207. State license 08091. Captain Nick in the Jordan Lane Popeye Skywatch Traffic Center.
This segment of Talkin' Ball is brought to you by University Kia, the #1 volume Kia dealer in the state of Alabama. Located online at universitykia.com.
Good morning. Welcome back to Talking Ball, 97.7 ESPN The Zone. And FanDuel. This is always fun, and I did get a chuckle out of this. So FanDuel has given us Heisman odds, early Heisman odds. Nick Saban, we watched Alabama A-Day. We know last year it was a travesty that Will Anderson was not invited to New York, right?
Yeah. I don't want
best
to get
defensive
angry
player
again.
in college football.
Right.
Maybe the best player in college football going into this new year, okay? So what do you think FanDuel gave us odds for Will Anderson to win the Heisman?
Right. I can't wait.
Nothing.
0. Yeah.
Nothing.
Yeah. Aiden Hutchinson's uncle probably works for FanDuel.
Keaton Slovis is plus 4,000.
Oh,
Dylan
give me a
Gabriel
break.
plus 4,000. Will Anderson.
Come on, guys.
Not on this list.
It's just because defensive guys don't get a lot of buzz for it. But again, I mean, it was so stupid last year to see all that hype over Aiden Hutchinson and everything, who sucked in the playoff. Let me say it again. S-U-C-K. He was basically living off because they finally beat Ohio State. He played great, and it took them 15 years, but they finally beat the Suckeyes and beat them. So, but again, it's one of those things where, and then he got tons of hype, even though it was a joke when you looked at his numbers. And I'm not saying he's not good. I've always said he's a good player. But when you look at his numbers and Will Anderson's, it was a joke.
So what kind of numbers is Will Anderson going to have to post this year
20
to
sacks,
get the attention that
30 tackles for loss, something like that. And then his team being undefeated, in the college football playoff and playing for it all. That's the only way he'll start getting Heisman buzz. Now,
C.J. Stroud, by the way, had the best odds according to FanDuel at plus 200.
That doesn't surprise me because, again, they don't like – there's only been one repeat ever, and that's
Bryce
Archie
Young
Griffin.
is plus 400.
Yeah. Archie Griffin is the only one in the mid-70s to ever do it. And so that's why they're going to give C.J. Stroud the edge, and because he plays for the overrated Big Ten Ohio State Buckeyes, who should put up a lot of numbers but probably choke again. But, I mean, that's why that's why they're going to – if Stroud puts up the numbers that he did last year and the Buckeyes win the Big Ten, though they didn't last year, they choked. But if they win the Big Ten and get to the playoff – and not get embarrassed in the national championship game like they did against Alabama 2 years ago, then with Justin Fields, then I think there's a good chance that if they're playing in the playoff, that Stroud could win the Heisman. I mean, I understand that. I will be rooting for it viciously not to happen because I hate the Big Ten. I hate the Big Ten. Okay. Let's say that again. I hate the Big Ten.
Can you say you just despise him, please?
Okay,
I mean,
despise.
I like the Big
despise.
Ten. I do like the Big Ten a little bit.
Okay.
I'll
say that. Despise.
I don't like a lot of the Big Ten.
Right.
I mean, I do. I mean,
I know you can't stand Minnesota.
I don't like Minnesota, and I don't like Illinois.
And you don't care for Wisconsin too much.
Wisconsin's okay. Wisconsin is kind of like, okay, you know what? If we had to lose, okay, I'm happy for you.
Because everyone knows Scott grew up in Iowa.
Yeah.
So he grew up in Big Ten country. He was an Iowa fan.
I don't like Minnesota,
Went to Northern
and
Iowa.
I can't stand Illinois.
Yeah. Well, that's right. You don't like Illinois either, right?
Yeah, I don't like Illinois, and I don't like Minnesota. Those are the two. Those are the two that just that bug me. The Nebraska rivalry that has developed over the years. I haven't lived in the state when that has happened.
Right.
We didn't play Nebraska growing up as a kid.
No, not at all. They were in the Big 12.
They were in the Big 12 or the Big 8 at the time.
Big 8, Big 12, yeah.
So I never cared about Nebraska. So, I mean, that rivalry to me is that. But I just the two teams that I cannot lose Iowa cannot lose
Minnesota
to
and Illinois.
Minnesota and Illinois. Can't lose to those. And if we lose to Wisconsin, because
since Barry Alvarez got there, they've been good.
And Barry Alvarez is an Iowa guy. So
that's right.
You kind of I don't know. I don't know. I feel differently about Wisconsin than I do the rest. But I just can't stand. My level of disdain for Illinois is Alabama's level for disdain for Tennessee. Okay, that is where I am at on the Iowa-Illinois level.
Well, Illinois has been bad for a long time.
Yes, but they just, basically they are identical. All right, 256-576-4977. Anyway, I thought we would love the fact that C.J. Stroud, your favorite, Bryce Young, Caleb Williams, and you're right. Everybody on this list is all offensive players.
Mostly quarterbacks.
Yeah, nobody putting defense in there. So really, I mean, put $10 on Will Anderson just to get to New York, and you probably could make a little bit of cash if that's what you're into.
I mean, I heard a lot of buzz in the preseason last year about how good Aiden Hutchinson was going to be, and obviously he backed it up. But if you had put $10 on that for him to finish second in the Heisman voting, you'd won a lot of money.
Yeah. Anyway, if Will Anderson performs
if
he is capable of to the max, he's going to change a lot of this as the season goes on. I mean, this is these things right now where Vegas tries to get you to put some money down early. But if Will Anderson has the numbers like we think he has, if Will Anderson performs if Will Anderson has the same numbers as last year, as Will Anderson in New York this year.
He better be, or just freaking do away with it.
The exact same numbers. If he performs
absolutely,
because
that'd be 30-plus tackles for loss and 17.5 sacks. I mean, give everybody a lobotomy and just tell everybody it's fixed and that defensive players don't have a chance. I mean, give me a break. He should have been last year. He's better than Aiden Hutchinson. If Will Anderson were eligible for the NFL draft this year, he'd be the first pick. there wouldn't even be a debate. It would already be over. The Jacksonville Jaguars would be on the clock. They'd already have filled the card out. Or you just fire everybody and sell the team because you're morons.
Okay. All right, that's how we end hour number 1. When we come back, hour 2, we're going to kick off. Hey, the Senior Bowl has announced their Hall of Fame class. And
name.
And North Alabama has ties. We'll fill you in on that and more when we return.
By now, you know that sound. It's the sound of the Home Depot. But what about those sounds? Those are the sounds of Bosch's Quick Ice Pro, the industry's fastest refrigerator ice maker and bottle fill technology for hands-free, customizable water options, making this the sound of savings on top brand appliances. The Home Depot, how doers get more done. Save on Bosch refrigeration now with spring appliance savings at the Home Depot. Valid April 21st to May 11th, U.S. only. Gas range extra while supplies last. See store for details.
If you need a car, McCurry Motors is ready to put you in a quality vehicle, and in-house financing is available. If you have a job, McCurry Motors will work with you even if you have a bankruptcy, divorce, or bad credit. Visit McCurrySaysYes.com. Every car comes with a warranty, and they report to the credit bureau. With 2 locations, Highway 72 in Athens, call 256-230-0232, or Max Luther Drive in Huntsville. Call 256-713-0575.
WCZN, Union Grove, Huntsville, Alabama. 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Good morning from the traffic center. Looking pretty good at this point. I'm not finding any wrecks or stalls or traffic signal problems. You be careful. We are dealing with a heavy traffic load, so you're bumper to bumper wherever you're going this morning. Snelling needs experienced staff accountants with solid QuickBooks. Direct hire opportunity. Huntsville.snelling.com. Captain Nick in the Jordan Lane Popeyes Skywatch Traffic Center.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. A partly cloudy sky this afternoon. Still going to be relatively warm across the Tennessee Valley. Temperature seasonal for this time of year. Highs climbing into the mid and upper 70s. Only dropping into the mid 50s as we head into the overnight. A fantastic final day of the work week across all of North Alabama, southern Middle Tennessee. Plenty of sunshine for your Friday. Temperatures hanging out in the upper 70s and lower 80s. We're going to continue this beautiful weather as we head into the front half of the weekend. Plenty of sunshine on Saturday. I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman on your home for ESPN Radio, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
This is Brent Musburger's VSiN Action Update on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Heads up, sports bettors. Right now you can try VSiN All Access free for 30 days with no credit card required. Visit vsin.com/free month to sign up now.
Steph Curry now the favorite to win NBA Finals MVP at plus 450. Devin Booker at plus 500. Giannis Antetokounmpo plus 550. Chris Paul plus 650. And Jason Tatum plus 750 odds. The Zurich Classic underway today in New Orleans. 2 teams at the top of the odds board. Victor Hovland, Colin Morikawa, and Patrick Cantlay and Xander Schauffele at plus 800. Ryan Palmer and Scotty Scheffler plus 1,000. NBA Western Conference Finals. The Grizzlies a 1.5-point favorite at the Timberwolves. The over-under at 236.5. The Mavericks a 7-point underdog at the Jazz, 210.5 the set total, and the Warriors minus 1.5 at Denver, 224 the over-under.
I'm Trey Westerberg, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Log on today, 97.7ESPN.com. Welcome to Talkin' Ball with Scott Tyson and Drew DeArmond. Call into the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline now, 256-576-4977. That's 256-576-4977. Now, here's Scott and Drew.
It is hour 2 of Talking Ball on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Scott Tyson and Drew DeArmond. Welcome in to hour number 2 of the show, and as we mentioned in hour number 1, as we left, the Reese's Senior Bowl has announced their Hall of Fame class of 2022. A lot of familiar names on this list. I mean, a lot of familiar names. Dak Prescott is on the list. Von Miller.
Yeah.
Patrick Willis.
Yeah.
Kevin Falk.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, SEC, Kevin Falk, Patrick Willis, SEC, Dak Prescott, SEC. Anyway, the other name on that list, Athens native Phillip Rivers, Senior Bowl Hall of Fame class of 2022.
Yep, Jim Nagy, the head of everything over there at the Senior Bowl, does a great job. But, yeah, Phillip Rivers now back in Mobile coaching. Looks like he's done with the National Football League after a Hall of Fame career. And, yes, he's a Hall of Famer, everybody. I don't care if he didn't win a Super Bowl. He had a remarkable career. I was very fortunate to follow it from its first beginnings. I saw the first time he ever started in a game over against Shades Valley High School in a jamboree over at Hartselle. Just a remarkable career for Phillip Rivers. He was an early enrollee before that was ever cool. Under Chuck Amato at NC State.
Yeah, now that's almost like
commonplace. It was not.
Yeah.
Back in the day.
It's almost like you expect guys to be there.
And then Phillip stayed 4 years. He was a 4-year starter, and then had just a remarkable professional career. Much of it with the San Diego / Los Angeles Chargers, and then ending it playing a year with the Indianapolis Colts. But what a career, well deserved. He played in the Huntsville City Classic. He was also a really good basketball player for the Athens Golden Eagles. Just an unbelievable career, and another milestone for him, and well deserved for Phillip Rivers.
All right, 256-576-4977. That is the number 2. The Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. We welcome your calls and your questions here in hour number 2. And I promise we'll have more people listening to the show than what showed up yesterday for first pitch between the O's and the A's.
Oh.
Did you see this?
I didn't see it.
I have to bring this up because I just laugh every time. The announced attendance, 2,703.
And this was this in Oakland or in Baltimore?
This was in Oakland.
Oh, yeah, man. I mean, they got to move. I don't think they're going to get a ballpark. The Oakland A's have got to move. They couldn't keep the Raiders. I don't think they're going to be able to keep the A's. I guess they sort of kept the Warriors, but they're not really in Oakland anymore. They're in San Francisco. They need to get the hell out of there.
2,703 for a Major League Baseball game.
That's the Trash Pandas draw twice that. You were there?
Yes, the home opener.
Yeah,
there was 5,000 people.
Plus people.
It was double the amount that was there for an A's. Now I get it. The Orioles are bad.
Yeah,
the A's
are not. But they've been a postseason team.
Still,
are they going to be the Nashville A's?
Nashville still has not given up hope.
Because they were trying to get Tampa, right?
Yes. And Tampa, I don't know what's going on there. I don't know. The Major League Baseball turned down the split. The split. I don't know where everything is at on all that. I just know that Nashville still hasn't given up hope of trying to lure in a baseball team. But anyway, I just had to bring that up because I did get a chuckle out of that. All right. Over to college back over to college football. And David Kenyon from Bleacher Report has come out with an article, and it says college football's problems and ways to fix them, transfer portal. And he's given up some ways that he has designed to fix college football's transfer portal problem. And one of them, he says, is the portal entry rules. He said, should coaches have to watch the portal 365 days a year? Maybe, maybe not. He says, kind of like recruiting. We have dead periods in college football recruiting. Why not have dead periods for the transfer portal during the calendar year?
Well, it may end up being that way. I mean, where you have to There's certain times of the year that you can't go in the portal. There's certain times of the year that you can't transfer. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if they do tweak it a little bit. But again, you're talking about the NCAA, who is so reactive and not proactive. So I wouldn't be surprised if they end up tweaking some of the rules, especially since Alabama continues to pluck starters from other people's programs, and you're going to have people complaining and moaning and groaning, talking about how, because they moaned and groaned because Saban outworked people in recruiting, and it was like, we can't have this, we got to do away, we got to have the Saban rule where he can't go out and recruit at a high school and be treated like a rock star and blah blah blah, and because he wanted to be out on the road, unlike a lot of head coaches who are lazy, and so they didn't want to do a lot of the legwork like Saban does, so they tweaked those rules, and they didn't allow that. And then they started the transfer portal. They've started NIL. But, I mean, NIL's for the players. They deserve to make money off their name, image, and likeness. But, again, the transfer portal, that was created to allow player movement, but also to weaken programs like an Alabama or a Georgia or somebody like that. But what they're learning is that blew up in their face, because then Alabama can go out and cherry pick and fill holes even if they miss in recruiting.
He says another area that they could fix college football is the annual scholarship limit. Now, he did say the NCAA did pass that 1-year waiver that allows teams to replace 7 lost transfers in addition to the 25 permitted.
For COVID, yeah.
Right. He says, but we need to make this an annual thing, not just a 1-year thing, because a lot of programs, we saw a lot of guys. Now, the major guys get the headlines when somebody enters the transfer portal. That's what we talk about a lot, is when a guy that has started, let's just say 20 games, kind of like Jahmyr Gibbs from Georgia Tech. Great player at Georgia Tech. He gets headlines because he is transferring to Alabama. But what we don't see are there's other guys that on the back end of that roster cause rosters to be short. 10 to 15 transfers a year, 15 to 20 departing seniors, he says. That's 30 guys that you may lose in 1 year. When you can only sign 25, you're still 5 short. You do that 2 years, you're 10 short. So he said the expansion of the roster needs to happen faster than sooner. I mean, it needs to happen, not just a 1-year thing.
So he's wanting more than 85.
He's saying that we need to increase the roster,
and that would be to more
every year, not just 1 year that we've this past year.
Well, good luck with that. I don't know that they're going to give teams more than 85 scholarships. Okay, that I know the COVID deal was different, and they had to deal with that. I think that's less likely to happen with the 85. I think it's been at 85 for a long time, Scott, because back in the 60s and the 70s, it used to be unlimited, and you could sign as many. There was no limit on, like, say that we always talk about signing 25 guys in a recruiting class. Well, good Lord, you could go out and sign 50, depending. But they've placed those limits many years ago, and then they've had these squad limits to 85 scholarship players. I don't see that going up.
But what do we do, though, if programs like, let's say you do have a college program that, like, on a level of what we've seen at LSU during basketball season where everybody leaves.
Left.
What happens on the college football level? Let's say 20 guys decide to depart and they are short. And they play with a roster deficit because they cannot sign enough guys to get to the 85 because of said 25 limit.
Well, that's their own fault if you can't recruit good enough players to come to your program.
But I'm saying if you are at a roster deficit and you can only recruit 25, you're not going to get up to the number where you need to be.
Well, I mean, that just goes back into roster management. That's one of the biggest keys, and that's why Nick Saban's been so successful. You have to be able to manage your roster, Scott. You've got to be able to get guys to buy in, to understand, okay, this is the role I want for you. You got to stay here. You got to develop. Some of y'all are going to have success early. Some of y'all it's going to take a couple of years.
Right.
But it's all about how you run your organization. If you run it properly, you won't end up like LSU. But the reason LSU's where they are is because Ed Ogeron was a buffoon. We played the Hummer commercial. We know.
That was Ole Miss, but yeah.
Whatever.
I know.
Didn't change. He got lucky. That's all it was. A fluke. F-L-U-K-E. That's what it was. He got Joe Burrow, who he didn't know who the hell he was. It was like when Auburn got Cam Newton, and they didn't know what the hell they had till they got him.
Oh, they didn't even know. They did. Okay, I was with that. I mean, I covered that team a lot that year. Trust me, they didn't even know what they had in Cam Newton after week 4.
That's what I'm saying. They didn't have a clue.
Gus Malzahn knew what he had in Cam Newton. Gene Chizik didn't know what he had in Cam Newton and still wasn't convinced that Cam should have been the starter through week 4 of that season.
I'm just saying, okay?
Because when we were out there for the national championship game in Arizona, that was the biggest topic that the coaches were talking about, and even the players, they were like, it wasn't until the South Carolina game, I believe, that year that they really realized the full potential of what Cam Newton could do.
I'm just telling you. That's what I'm saying. You have to be able to run your program in the right way.
Right.
If you do it, you're not going to be at these deficits. The people that are over their head or don't run the program properly or allow too many people access, like the Texas Longhorns and people like that your roster gets screwed up when you don't make the right coaching hires and when you got too many cooks in the kitchen.
Should there be an exception, though, like when we have a coaching change? So, like, if a university has a coaching change and guys leave because of said coach leaving and the new coach comes in, that's not his fault for trying to manage that new roster. He had a lot of guys leave because he's new and a lot of guys didn't want to stay.
Well, maybe with coaching changes, eventually you may get a waiver where, you can bring in a few more guys. But to be honest with you, I doubt it because here's the deal. They're going to be out there. I'm talking about the players. Look how many guys – Chris Hummer's come on with us from 24/7 Sports and told us there are going to be dudes that leave and don't find a place to land because they think they're going to have a place, but they know that the interest isn't going to be there. But if you're at a place like LSU in basketball or football, you're going to have interest. There's going to be kids that want to go wear the purple and gold. They do. I mean, because LSU still has great tradition. I mean, they don't have Alabama tradition in football, but they've won 3 national championships since 2003. And they have a rabid fan base and following. And even LSU basketball, despite having the highest salary cap, and being close to an NBA team. They under Western Union, they won some games and they won an SEC championship. And under Dale Brown, they've been to Final Fours under John Brady. So it can be a successful program. And it's in the SEC with a lot of exposure. So again, you should, like Matt McMahon, the new coach that came over from Murray State, he's one of them. And it's weird.
Yeah.
He left Murray State, all the players left. Well, he left LSU, everybody left. Well, you're going to be able to build your roster.
Same way with, what was it, St. Peter's?
Yeah.
The school.
A lot of those guys left when Sheen Holloway went to Seton Hall.
Yeah. And you bring up basketball and you bring up the transfer portal. Jeff Goodman released this 2 days ago, okay? As of the 19th of April for college basketball, here is what the transfer portal looks like. 1,418 players in the portal. 158 of those, 1,400 were walk-ons. 19 withdrew. That left 1,241 scholarship players in the basketball portal.
Yeah.
1,241 players.
Crazy. Just crazy.
So you figure, so I was going to do this math here real fast. 1, 2, 4, 1. A college basketball roster is 15 scholarship players.
Well, it's 13 in men's.
Okay.
I think it's 15 in women's, 13 in men's.
1, 2, 4, 1 divided by 13. You could fill 95 basketball programs with the scholarship rosters, with the scholarship players that are in the transfer portal. You could fill up 95 college basketball programs.
Right.
You could start 95 new programs.
Crazy, man. Crazy.
Oh.
Unbelievable. Oh, by the way, speaking of, he's not in the transfer portal, thank the Lord, and he's going to be a junior for Ronnie Stapler at Westminster Christian Academy. But got to give a shout-out to Chase McCarty, young man who's an all-state player, already put in 2 great years at Westminster, averaged nearly 20 points per game last year. Young man got offered in the last several days. He first got offered by Cincinnati in the AAC, and then Houston, Final Four participant in the last couple of years. Kelvin Sampson done a remarkable job. Our good friend Bobby Champagne on that staff. And yesterday, Alabama offering Chase McCarty. So that young man plays for the Atlanta Express in AAU, but Ronnie Stapler in the fall and winter, Westminster Christian Academy had a remarkable season, probably the second best team in 4A basketball to the Jacksonville Eagles, who went on to win the state championship. But that young man going to continue to get offers, and very significant to get those 3 before your junior season. So congratulations to him.
All right, let's go to the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. Randy with us this morning. Good morning, Randy.
Good morning, fellas. How are y'all?
Doing good, bud.
Hey, I just want to ask Drew a question.
Sure.
Hey, Drew, if you're going to sell some of this Alabama stuff, where could you sell it?
What are you talking about? You talking about selling, like, what kind of?
Like my pictures, some paper prints of Bear Bryant back in the 80s, 70s.
Maybe eBay. That would be probably an outlet you could use. Maybe Facebook. They have now a Facebook where you can
marketplace.
Marketplace. Yeah, exactly. You can probably do it that way, Randy. I mean, social media would probably be the best way to do that. I mean, it's the auction kind of stuff is it's hit or miss, but yeah, you could probably sell it on social media.
Yeah, I'm going to downsize it. The grandkids and kids, they don't seem to want it. So
yeah, I got you.
I ain't got no room for it.
Yeah.
How's your? We haven't talked to you. How's your car coming?
Yeah,
I'm about almost tagged on it.
Nice.
Yeah, I got it framed up where it looks like a car now.
Oh, nice. Good work.
Yeah. But it's been a job on it.
I bet it has.
Yeah, they was about a year and a half where I didn't even get the food with.
Probably did COVID slow you down?
Well, it was COVID and, the way things was doing, and going.
Yeah.
And the price of parts and everything's out of this world now.
Oh, yeah.
The warranty system goes inside that car. It's right at $1,000.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I got it framed up. It looks like a Mustang.
There you go, Randy.
Good job, Randy. Good job.
Attaboy, and I'm hoping you and your family are doing well, sir.
Oh, we are. We're doing good, Drew.
Thank you.
I just wanted to ask y'all that. Y'all have a good one.
You appreciate it. Thank you for listening.
All right, and all right, let's get this break in. I don't know where we're going to go next.
Oh, I'm going with longevity. I'm going with these coaches retiring because she's been doing this for a long time at the same place. What's kept her going?
I don't know what her thought of the week is going to be or her story.
Right.
I have no idea. I do know 10% of the conversation will be about UAH softball.
Oh, there'll be something.
There'll be something, but I don't know where the rest of it's going to go. Les Stuneman joins us next.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Got a wreck on the Arsenal, Martin Road and Rideout Road. That one reported injury, but they canceled Himsey on it. And we got a problem with a traffic signal, Sparkman and Pulaski Pike. HPD's checking that one. The Wise annual Free Healthy Kids Day is April 30th at the Southeast Family YMCA or at the Hogan Family YMCA. ymcahuntsville.org for info. Captain Nick in the North Parkway, Popeye Skywatch Traffic Center.
If you're ready to lower your utility bills, it's time to call Eagle Insulation. Eagle can handle it all. Attic re-insulation, insulation removal, wall insulation, and new construction insulation, commercial and residential. Our primary goal is to save you money, and lots of it. Typical clients realize their return on investment within 3 to 6 months. That means the re-insulation actually pays for itself and then some. See if we can help you. Contact Eagle Insulation today, 256-755-1556, or log on insulatewitheagle.com.
This is Wes Neighbors talking to Chris Haygood of Bob Wallace Appliance. Chris, what sets you apart from other appliance dealerships?
Wes, these appliances are going into the most used room in your house, your kitchen. The way we have these appliances displayed, it's easy for you to visualize how they'll look in your home. Wes, what sets us apart is the people. They're well trained. In fact, they live and breathe these appliances. And if you need service, you'll really appreciate our parts department.
Contact Bob Wallace Appliance at 256-533-2121.
Hi, everybody. Eli Gold here. Right now, indoor air quality occupies top-of-mind awareness for families and business owners. Rick Smith and the trusted professionals at Environmental Comfort Systems can take care of your indoor air quality concerns with their state-of-the-art indoor air quality solutions. Environmental Comfort's indoor air quality systems remove 99.9% of airborne contaminants so you and your family can breathe clean, fresh air. If anyone in your family suffers from allergies, or if you just want the security of knowing the air you breathe inside your home is free from viruses, bacteria, pet dander, dust, and odors, Environmental Comfort Systems are the professionals to call. Environmental Comfort also carries state-of-the-art, high-efficiency comfort systems that increase home comfort, keep humidity in check, and help you save money on your energy bills. Give my friend Rick a call or visit them online at envcomfort.com and breathe cleaner air today. Environmental Comfort Systems, Alabama license number 92314.
Outdoor season is coming. Can't wait.
Here at Brooks & Collier, neither can we. Outdoor season is also grilling season.
And we have plenty of grills and smokers in stock. From Traeger, Blaze, and Big Green Egg.
There's the greenhouse. New indoor items and home furnishings as well.
Whatever it takes. Browse over 2 acres of furnishings. Can't wait.
How about you? North Alabama's indoor and outdoor living headquarters for over 75 years.
813 Meridian Street and at brooksandcollier.com.
Hi, my name is Dan Aldridge. I'm here to let you know about the Aldridge Law Firm and the soon-to-be-announced Legal Town Center. I've been practicing law in Alabama since 1984, and I also practice in Tennessee. And I'm from North Alabama, and I'm here to represent you and take care of your legal needs. For many of us, hiring an attorney is not high on the priority list, and maybe a little scary. But it's something that we all need at some point. So by all means, do your homework. And if you need representation for car accident, wrongful death, medical malpractice, nursing home abuse, or estate planning, or any other matter, just give us a call at 256-534-3188. And you can email me at Dan, that is Dan at danaldridgelaw.com. Dan at danaldridgelaw.com. God bless America.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
Download our app today. Just search 97.7 ESPN.
It's water and dust resistant.
That's 977 ESPN. We are 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
And that's it.
This is Eli Gold, voice of the Alabama Crimson Tide. Now more of Talkin' Ball with Scott Theisen and Drew DeArmond on your home for Crimson Tide Sports 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Roll Tide.
Welcome back. Talking Ball 97.7 ESPN The Zone. And there is some hot stuff being played over on the UAH softball diamond these days. Region rankings just come out. Wes Studeman's squad is playing some really good softball since that calendar turned to the month of April.
Yes, they've won 10 out of 11. We've been a great influence.
We have.
Yeah, they have gotten red hot since she started joining us every other week on our show.
That's what we do.
That's what we do. We really do. We talk about Jimbo Fisher's hair. We talk about. There's no telling what we talk about.
Like I said, I know
on this show.
I know about 30%, maybe 20% of the conversation will be
Yeah.
softball. I don't know where the rest is going to go.
But we know they're playing great, and they're number 6 in the initial rankings, the regional rankings that came out. And the longtime softball coach, the only softball coach in UAH history, Les Studeman, is going to join us now on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. Coach, congratulations. Great performance by your team the last couple of weeks. Welcome back to the show. Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you. Yeah, I'm going to use a Coach Acuff quote and tell you I don't know about playing great. I'm not going to say we're playing great, but we're sort of
finding a way.
Coach Acuff quote. We are pecking this season to death like a duck. That's what we're doing. And that's good. We are just moving very slowly forward, but we are moving forward.
Mm-hmm. Well, Coach, the theme when we've talked to you before was the fact that the bottom part of the lineup was needing to produce, that the top half was getting it done. If we look at the wins and we look at everything that's going on, should we assume that the lineup now is producing all over, or is it still the top half?
Well, the biggest series that – every series is huge, but a big series that has really catapulted us is the series down at West Florida.
Yes.
And Kaylee Ball and Shelby Booker and Kira Ackles, that's our 1, 2, 3. They really tore it up. But game 3 in the we go to the top of the 7th down a run. Balt hits a solo to tie it up. The bottom of the 8th, we've got one of our seniors who has not had a great year down the bottom of the lineup, down in the count 1-2, and she hits the top of the 8th with 2 strikes, hits a bomb out to center field. And her name's Eve Mallard. She's from James Clemens. She's one of the, she just.
I think we may
lost her.
I think we lost her right there. I think we had a little issue. We'll have to get Coach Studeman back on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline.
Yeah.
But it sounds like in a big moment, a senior at the bottom of the lineup, Scott, came up huge at West Florida. No doubt about that.
Well, that went what Coach is referring to, and she was talking about the 8th inning.
To win that series at West Florida.
4-3 in the 8th inning, and we do have Coach Les Studeman back with us on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. Coach,
a huge moment for the senior, Coach.
Sir?
Yes, it was a huge moment for your senior.
Huge moment for her.
Yes.
I think Taylor Flatt put defining moment of the season. Some seasons have defining moments, and surely did feel like one, and just nobody deserved it more in that moment than she did. And anyway, it's just that we're going to just use that and keep going. And we've had some truly great pitches from our senior pitcher, Leighton Murphy. And she's just one of those kind of kids who, if she gets hot, she's going to be tough to deal with.
Well, Coach, you followed that series up, that great 2 games. You took 2 out of 3 against nationally ranked West Florida. And then you had a couple out-of-conference games with Miles. But then you come in a series against West Georgia, and I don't want to say you made quick work of it, but a 5-1 win, a 16-2 to win in 5 innings, and then an 8-5 win against West Georgia. Those bats kind of stayed hot.
Yeah, we're, everything that we need to be doing right now is starting to happen. And the 1, 2, and 3 in our lineup have just, I don't know that there's a team in our conference who has been more dependent on their 1, 2, 3. Now, everybody's got a good 1, 2, 3, but we have really ridden those 3 kids to where we are. And so to see the bottom of the lineup picking up and producing it's just huge for us. If we can maintain that and stay consistent, we really do have a chance to make a run here late. Getting ranked in the region is, that coming out, that sort of makes you feel, makes you feel good. It affirms that you are pecking the season to death like a duck, and but that's 6 anywhere 5 to 10, and those how it goes, Scott. I mean that's basically tied.
Yeah.
So we don't have any room for error.
No, you don't, Coach. But you told us going into it that it was very, very difficult to win on the road, especially at West Florida, the coach you know very well there. She was an alum. She's done a great job with that program. But winning it the way you did in the dramatic fashion and taking 2 out of 3, that had to be a huge confidence boost for the group as a whole.
Absolutely. I mean, we've got 4 fifth-year seniors, and they are just fabulous players. But I'm going to use a but instead of an and. There's never been that just, hey, we're better than them ever. I mean, they're just not that kind of kid. They're just going to play the game and they're going to give you everything they got, and they love UAH and they love their teammates, but they're not, hey guys, we're better than them. And I mean, I'm telling you, like that was the talk coming from that group. And, that's really what you need, because when you've got that kind of belief from the top part of your team, you're going to get it from everybody else.
Well, now this weekend, you're back on the road. UAH head coach Les Studeman joining us. Now, you do have a couple games today at home against Lincoln Memorial, which the weather should provide a great backdrop for that. But this weekend, you hit the road to take on Shorter, which I love going to Shorter, by the way, because I love going to Truett's Chick-fil-A, but that's not why you're going. But you got a series against Shorter on the road this weekend for conference play.
Yes, and Shorter's record might look not that great, but one, they've taken some games out of conference from some really good teams. That's number one. Number two, we always struggle there. I mean, it's just a really tough place to play. And like I said, the road is the road, and that's what we want. We want to go and we want to have it be hard so that we're ready if we are fortunate enough to get into the postseason. I think if we win one game or Delta loses one game, we're in the tournament. Then we're just playing for our seed. But we want it to be tough so that when we get to the postseason, we aren't going, oh gosh, this is hard, and not be prepared for it.
Well, and Coach, you reflect on the weekend, the sweep against West Georgia. We talked to Hunter Royer. He was really looking forward to the weekend, just simply because it's the alumni weekend. A lot of people returning to campus, a lot of former players. You've started this program from scratch at UAH and built it into a powerhouse on the Division II level. Had so many remarkable accomplishments. But how fun is it to have people back on campus and to have a weekend like that? There can be a lot of distractions, I know, but your team seemed to handle it well.
Yeah, it's really probably more of a distraction for me than it is for our team, in terms of just that. Sometimes that's the only time I get to see some of these folks, and so to be able to try to catch up with them, and but when you get 10 alumni out there and they all have 2 kids, that's freaking special, man. I'm telling you, like when I took this job, however many million years ago, I never thought. And, which that can show you how dumb I am. But I never thought that I would be like tearing up seeing these kids come back with their kids. And, when we were in West Florida, one of our a person from our very first team, Becky Lorez O'Brien, was there with her triplets. She has triplets. And she said, Coach, do you have a chance to say hey to my boys? And I came out. Well, they're 16 years old, so
oh Lord,
I'm like, how can you have 16-year-old kids? And she's like, I talk about you all the time. And the husband said, we still use 5 minutes early, 10 minutes late in our house. And that's awesome. That feels freaking great. I mean, that to be able to, I see them once every other year when we go down there. So to know that her sons are living by the UAH motto of 5 minutes early is 10 minutes late. That's just great. I mean, that's what it's all about. And anyway, yes, it's a distraction in that I want to be able to spend a little more time with everybody than I get to.
Yeah, but I'm sure that weekend, though, does feel rewarding just a little bit.
Especially when your team performs.
Yeah, and you look at it now, now when these – and a lot of people and a lot of your former players, Coach, when they come back –
they're coming back to a facility that they never played in because they didn't have that chance to play on campus. And now you get to welcome all these alumni back to on campus.
Yeah, that, a lot of the girls who came the first 10 years, they were going to what was then, university at home. And heck, there was a neighborhood right down the middle of the campus. I don't know if y'all remember that or not, but I mean, there was an actual neighborhood where our Greenway is now. And so, they cannot believe the amount of people and kids, like 18 to 20-year-old kids on our campus. And that's always something that they always comment on and are proud of and did not get to experience. And, the thing about the facility, we had girls that we practiced at Brom Springs and we played all over town, which, Scott, you'll remember.
Yeah.
When we played at Madison Academy. We played at Bob Jones. We played at Palmer Park. We played at Monrovia Ballpark. We played at Sportsplex. And we were really, really gypsies. And there were a couple of years there, if it were not for Madison Academy, we could not have had home games. So, for those girls to have a place to come back and sit in the outfield with their families and watch a game, it just means the world to me for them to see. And, I just really try. The kids that are on your team now can never understand what those girls went through, but I always try to let them know, hey, those girls change clothes in their car, so keep your locker neat.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, during your time building this program, was the building of an on-campus facility and the growth of UAH softball as a whole, was that the most significant, I think, accomplishment during your time there? I mean, the wins have been remarkable and playing for a couple of national championships, but having a stadium built and showing the commitment to UAH softball, was that the most significant accomplishment in your mind during your tenure so far?
Oh, yeah. Well, Charter Park, which was baseball, softball, and soccer, they were all built as practice facilities. And I really wanted to wait until we had the money to build it all the way out. And Jim Harris said, we need to get surfaces here right now, because what will happen, Les, is people are going to drive by and they're going to see y'all out there, and it's going to make an impact on them with how hard you're working. The way you do it, the way our baseball team does it, they're going to see you out there, and it's going to make an impact, and they're going to want to help. And so the first year or so, it was just a practice facility. I mean, we didn't even have bleachers or anything like that, or dugouts. And he was right. As soon as we got out there, people were seeing us out there working and keeping everything neat and clean and all that. And we added some more stuff. Originally our scoreboard ran on gas, and Sheila Ray would have to go out between games and fill the generator up with gas, and it would run out with our scoreboard ran out of gas during games. The first year we played on campus.
Wow.
Well, and I got a great story. We didn't have dugouts when we started either. This is a good story. All right, so Mr. Harris. We had a Saturday doubleheader at the field. We played it. Mr. Harris calls me in his office on Monday and says, "Hey, Les, we can save about $200,000 if we cut these bathrooms out of the baseball and softball dugout." So at that time, we had porta pots that we all shared, baseball, softball, fans, both teams. It was awful. So in that Saturday game, our center fielder let a ball go between her legs in the fifth inning, and so I just went out there and took her out right then on defense, and sub right there, which is just not you're not supposed to do that. You're not supposed to do that. That's mean. So anyway, I did a mean sub. In between games, I'm standing in the line for the portalet, and the center fielder's grandfather was standing in front of me, and I'm like, "Well, hello, Mr. We'll change it. Hello, Mr. Theisen," and he just stood there with his arms folded and stared at me. So that was what happened on Saturday. So I said to Mr. Harris, I said, "Hey, were you at the game Saturday?" He said, "Yes." And I said, "Well, did you see what happened in the fifth inning?" He said, "Yeah, you pulled out the center fielder off defense." And I said, "Yeah," and I had to stand in line at the porta pot with her grandfather. And he said, "Yeah," and I said, "So if you want me to stay your softball coach and not get assassinated, we need bathrooms in the dugout." And he didn't ask another question. We put the bathrooms in all four dugouts.
That's awesome.
So that's how the bathrooms came to the dugout.
That is how they got done. That's why we spent the money on the bathroom.
Oh, boy.
Oh, man, we never know what great stories we're going to hear each and every couple of weeks with Coach. That's awesome. Well, and Coach, I've got to ask you this too, because our big topic of conversation on our show this morning in the first hour was Jay Wright retiring, and we thought abruptly, even though he had a great career for 28 years as a head coach. You've been doing it that long at UAH. What's the key to longevity and staying and doing this? I know you've had opportunities to move up, but you've stayed at UAH. You love the school. What's the key to coaching and building a program like you have and sustaining it?
Well, I've just always really loved the university and the kind of kids we get. I mean, the kind of, athletes and students that we get at UAH are not typical for the Gulf South Conference. They're nerdier. They really are. And, there's an academic standard there that I really enjoy, the kind of kid we serve. So there's that. I've really liked UAH. I love Huntsville. It's close to my family. This level has been the right level for me, and I have had chances to move up, and it's just never felt, even though it looked greener, it just never felt right for me. And, I just feel like in Division II, you can get athletes and you can coach them up, and you can, a lot of it is relationship, teaching, coaching. Whereas I think, at the next level up, more of it is dependent on recruiting and facilities and those kind of, and, all the things that go along with being able to recruit. And I feel like probably the recruiting side of it is probably not I feel like I can identify the talent, but that, like, spending that amount of time is just not, all over the country that's just not how I wanted to do it. I like regional recruiting. It's great for me. It was worked out for us at UAH, and it's just a match for me. So that's why it's worked out for me at UAH. It's just been a great fit for me. UAH, every time we've needed anything to move forward with our program, I feel like we've been heard. They haven't always done exactly what we asked for, but I do feel like they've listened and they want to do it, and I still feel that way. And it's not perfect. If you come out to Charger Park, you could see some flaws. But we've still got some. We added teams, men and women's lacrosse, that didn't have a place to change. I just think I didn't really totally agree with that, but I do think men and women's lacrosse is a great addition to our campus and to our city, and we're going to get there. So that's the main part of it for me. Obviously the last couple of years, you sit down at the end of the year and you start evaluating, okay, where am I? What do I want to do? What else is there to do? So my dad asks me every year, is when are you going to retire? And I'm like, Dad, nobody asks I'll say 45-year-old a man when he's going to retire. And he's like, yeah, but you've been doing it a long time. And he's right. I have been. And, I cannot see not being involved with UAH in some way in the future. And whether that is coaching until I die or doing something else until I die, I don't know. But I just love the university, and I love Huntsville, and it's not the time to evaluate that for me right now. But I have been evaluating that at the end of every year, and I try to just take a step back and take a deep breath and talk to my people. Coach Acuff is one of my people. Our athletic director, Kate Smith, is one of my people, my family, and just sort of check in and see where I am and where we are as a program, and are we still moving forward.
You've had to adapt, though, I'm sure, over time, because now you got the transfer portal in there, and kids have changed over the years as well.
Yeah, I do not think of my job as a grind, but there are things in the job that are grinding.
Yeah.
And, I'm not kidding. Like, the middlemen of the people who consider themselves middlemen of these kids that are going in the portal, with, the travel coaches, the high school coaches, even parents of other players, contacting you. That's just not what college athletics is about. And so I've really tried my very best and for kids that are from Huntsville, if they're coming home, they'll have a place to play if they want to come home. But I've really tried to stay away from building our program around kids in the portal. But that's just not going to be for me, and I don't want to do it that way. And if it gets to the point where you have to do it that way, it probably will be time for me to get out, because that's not – I want to get these kids at 18 or from junior colleges in the manner that I've always done it and build the way I've always built it. And that works for me. That's what I'm comfortable doing. And whatever works for everybody else, I do not judge that at all. Obviously, it is a method to really quickly impact your program, but it's just not the way we're going to do it.
Well, and Coach, what's remarkable is you've done a great job, and the way you've done this, we're very blessed to have had you in our community. But speaking of the grind, the season already nearly the regular season concluding remarkably, because you have shorter today. And by the way, we have listeners calling or texting us and trying to find out when you're playing. Good friend Freddie Kirby asking about your doubleheader today at 1 p.m. against Lincoln Memorial at Charger Park. But now you've got that road series at shorter, and then by the time we speak with you again, the regular season is going to have concluded at hosting West Alabama, I should say.
Yeah, and I'm telling you what, West Alabama is absolutely mashing the softball right now. So they had a game with West Florida that was 15-13. So that's going to be. We don't have an easy game left. Today's game, if anybody's listening about today's game at 1, Lincoln Memorial has one of the best pitchers in the country. Her last name is Frost. She's from Northeast Tennessee. Really, just a fabulous player, great player, and they really hit the ball too. So this is a good opportunity for our team to get some good competition, and if we're able to win, get some really good points and sort of solidify ourselves in the regional poll.
All right, Coach. Well, best of luck today. Enjoy the weather, and best of luck this weekend.
Stay hot.
Yeah, stay hot out there on the diamond. Temperatures are going to heat up, so stay hot.
Yep. Hey, I appreciate you guys a lot.
Thank you, Coach. We appreciate your time.
Thanks. UAH head coach Les Studeman with us. As always, today's interview brought to you by SportsMed Orthopedic Surgery and Spine Center, the official training providers for the UAH Chargers. Give them a call, 256-881-5151, to experience the SportsMed difference. SportsMed Orthopedic Surgery and Spine Center, dedicated to providing care that improves lives.
And what did we learn today? We learned why they have bathrooms in the dugouts,
at
man.
UAH.
We learned that, and we learned that the scoreboard was run by generators.
Gas generators.
Exactly. Crazy.
Let's get a break in.
What great stuff.
Plenty of headlines when we return.
Sounds like we may have just picked up a wreck northbound on the Parkway near the 565 interchange. Not much to it. It may already be on the side of the road there. Martin Road and Wright out reported with an injury, but they canceled HIMSY on it. Still looking at the traffic signal, Sparkman and Pulaski Pike. From routine care to heart failure, Dr. Randall Burns and the team at Huntsville Heart Specialists have the expertise to care for all matters of the heart. Captain Nick in the Jordan Lane Popeye Skywatch Traffic Center.
You've got to experience Toyotathon at Bill Penny Toyota. They've got the selection with over 700 new Toyotas to choose from. And they've got the extras with Bill Penny perks and a 10-year unlimited warranty. So get on over to Bill Penny Toyota today and experience Toyotathon. Bill Penny Toyota in Huntsville and online at BillPennyToyota.com. Bill Penny's Toyota 10-year unlimited warranty is valid through the 10th year of ownership. Valid on new vehicles only. See dealer for details.
Hi, this is Wes Neighbors. I'm here with Sam Fleming with Fleming Roofing and Restoration. Sam, tell the folks about Fleming Roofing and Restoration.
Hey Wes, our company Fleming Roofing and Restoration specializes in commercial and residential roofing and repairs. I'm a fifth-generation Huntsvillian, and our family's been doing construction business in Huntsville area since 1965.
Sam, what kind of roofs does Fleming Roofing and Restoration do?
Our guys are skilled enough. We can come out and address any kind of leaks or issues you might have on your commercial, on your metal roofing, on your Your shingles, we can do anything, and we can offer you a solution to repair it or we can replace it.
Well, you guys also do insurance restoration.
Our staff has 10-plus years of experience as insurance adjusters, and we really do know the inside and out of the claims process at Fleming Roofing and Restoration.
Check out Fleming Roofing and Restoration online at FlemingHSV.com, or you can call or text them at 256-651-9440.
Hey, Wes, we show up.
By now, you know that sound. It's the sound of the Home Depot. But what about those sounds? Those are the sounds of Bosch's Quick Ice Pro, the industry's fastest refrigerator ice maker and bottle fill technology for hands-free, customizable water options, making this the sound of savings on top brand appliances. The Home Depot, how doers get more done. Save on Bosch refrigeration now with spring appliance savings at the Home Depot. Valid April 21st to May 11th, U.S. only. Gas range extra while supplies last. See store for details.
I'm attorney Gary Lackey. You know, you'll hear people say we're like a family, but here at the Lackey Law Firm, that's really true, not just a saying.
I'm Justin Lackey. With my father and my sister, we have a special connection to each other.
I'm Jennifer Lackey. At the Lackey Law Firm, when we take on your case, you become part of our family. You really do.
And we'll always do whatever it takes to get everything you deserve.
If you're injured, you worry about getting well, not about paperwork or insurance companies or figuring out how to get to your lawyer's office. I'll come to you.
We worry about your case so you don't have to.
When you've been injured, we know that your case is probably the biggest thing going on in your life. More important than almost anything else.
And it's important to us too, for one simple reason. Family takes care of each other, and at the Lackey Law Firm, we'll take care of you.
The Lackey Law Firm. The Lackey Law Family. 1-800-4-RIGHTS.
No representation is made that the quality of the legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
Hey there, Bob Baumhauer here. Baumhauer's Victory Grill is your big game headquarters all fall long. And with our new fall features, every day is game day at Baumhauer's Victory Grill. Try our pregame starters, including our homemade onion strings, always fresh hot lips, and our all-new Buffalo Dippin' Chicken appetizer. Our main events include incredible chicken, fish, and shrimp selections, always featuring local Alabama Gulf seafood. And don't forget our Sunday Blitz, 11 to 6. Baumhauer's Victory Grill. Legendary fun, legendary food.
America First Alabama PAC is responsible for the content of this advertising.
The woke mob is growing. Gas prices are soaring. The liberal cancel culture is trying to take over Washington. There's only one thing that North Alabama can do to fight back. We need to send a Trump-tested warrior to battle back. We need someone with a strong military backbone who will not be intimidated. We need Republican Casey Wardynski. Casey Wardynski has a proven track record of standing up to the liberal mob. President Trump asked Wardynski to serve as his Assistant Secretary of the Army. General Michael Flynn said, "Rarely does our country have the opportunity to elect true patriots like Casey Wardynski. We're all fed up with the liberal direction of America. We cannot afford to let career politicians and their special interest friends grow the swamp. It's time to drain the swamp. Trump-tested Republican Casey Wardynski, the only choice we have for Congress."
This segment of Talkin' Ball is brought to you by University Kia, the #1 volume Kia dealer in the state of Alabama. Located online at universitykia.com. It's time for tomorrow's headlines today with Scott Tyson and Drew DeArmond on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
All right, welcome in and welcome back. We talk all the time about how good sports teams are here in North Alabama on the football side, the basketball side, baseball side. But how about this? Over the past 2 days, Class 4A, 5A on the tennis side, on the boys side and girls side, make it a clean sweep for Madison County. Madison Academy defends the 4A, 5A boys state tennis title. They edged Lamp 65-62. Parker Jakes, Houston Jakes, the brothers.
We know that last name.
Yeah, Parker #1 singles, Houston #2 singles. They win state titles, as does Joe Allen of Madison Academy, the #6 singles. They win titles. And then on the doubles side, Parker Jakes and Houston Jakes team up, and they win the #1 doubles. And then their teammates, Grady Byrne and Joe Allen, team up. They win the number 3 doubles for Madison Academy. So Madison Academy wins the 4A, 5A boys. Well, Randolph girls win the 4A, 5A girls state tennis championships. There, they beat Russellville 59-46. Elena Boyce of Randolph wins the number 1 girls singles. Megan Tao wins the number 2 singles. Lydia Slocum wins the number 3 singles. And then Elena Boyce and Lova Stenberg win the number 1 doubles. And then their teammate Megan Tao and Lydia Slocum win the number 2 doubles there. So congratulations to Randolph girls and Madison Academy girls for winning the state 4A, 5A state championships in tennis.
Yes, awesome accomplishment. Anytime you bring back a blue trophy and win a championship for your school, it's an unbelievable accomplishment. Congratulations to the guys at Madison Academy and the ladies at Randolph. Huge accomplishments for them.
And we're not done. According to reports, Jake Moran going to take over as the new head coach at East Limestone, pending board approval. So we'll keep an eye on that one.
Fred Steger, and I know Fred didn't finish the year last year, but again, Jake Moran, former head coach at Grissom. I know he's worked at Tanner, so congrats to Jake. Good guy, getting a chance to lead that East Limestone program. He lives out in Athens anyway, so that's a good move for him.
And we're not done. Brewer Hicklin hits his first AAA home run, a 2-run shot.
In frigid Omaha.
Yeah. So there you go.
Congrats, Brewer.
It was actually in Memphis, so it was probably a little warmer.
Well, they had probably a little warmer in Memphis. I don't know.
That's going to do it for our Thursday show. We'll be back
Thank
at
you to Coach Studham
morning.
again.
Yeah.
Thank you to Blake. Love him.
Use those bathrooms.